Alright guys, this is Breaker, and I am back with a replay that I took from the front page of not Drop.sc, but rather the casted subsection of the StarCraft 2 forums. Hang on just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and correct some things that I didn't mean to actually load like this. I'm such an idiot for doing this, I have to apologize guys. I do this to create a more cinematic experience for those of you who have never actually maybe seen my VODs before, but here I go. Alright, I think that's about it. Oh, wait, one more thing, one more modification, and then we're good to go. It's the observer hotkeys. Yes, they are so critical, ladies and gents. I do need them just that badly. And turn on the music. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this thingamajig turned off. And this is just the best of one, but I'm not going to bother with anything too terribly special. I want to go ahead and, let's see, is it Shift-R? Oh, okay, so yeah, alright, I can optionally... Sorry, I'm still getting used to this new observer interface, but let me go ahead and give both players their well overdue introduction. In the lower left-hand corner, spawning as our Protoss in the blue trunks, and the uploader of this replay, his name is... Gregory. Yes, Gregory. That one name to be feared across all continents of the planet. And in the lower right-hand corner, spawning as our Terran in the red trunks, his name is FOFPlatts. I think from now on I'll just call him Platts. Is that FOFPlatts? FOFPlatts? Just Platts will do for after this for our purposes. The map we are on looks like a brand new ladder map. I haven't really casted this map before, so it's going to be rather interesting to just see what's going on here. Probe just now moving out, and I'm guessing if I'm looking at this map correctly, then Forge Fast Expo versus Zerg would be extremely powerful on this map. If not, maybe a Forge... Oh, no. I'm thinking, SimCity all the way out here would be extremely dangerous. I wouldn't say entirely viable, but it looks tempting in my opinion. I don't know, just like the texts and everything like that reminds me just a little bit of, like, just everything that we see on the map just reminds me so vaguely of the map Searing Crater, I believe it was. It only lasted a single season, if I'm not mistaken, and that was in summer 2011. Yeah. In case you couldn't tell by the Toad croaky voice that I've got, I did kind of just wake up a few minutes ago, but yeah. Anywho, we have Platts sending out his first SCV, trying to get a scout on his opponent. And this is actually kind of interesting. Crab beetles run away afraid of anything that is... I don't know, that's actually something kind of new. That's something, I kind of like that critter aspect, if you will. It just runs away instinctively afraid of everything that is not a female of its own species. And the probe arrives right out here. It's gonna see, ooh, the Reaper's gonna chase it down, and there it is, okay. So now, basically, Gregory can see that he's gonna need to get something out that can deal with a Reaper, and looks like his choice will be a Stalker for the time being. Both players just kind of entering the macro phase. I'm going to try and just, kind of get a read into what could be considered a flaw, or what could be considered critical, or what's the word I'm looking for? Failsworthy, if you will. I want to say yes, while we could see a, Forge Fast Expo right here or something like that. I mean, in the ZVP matchup, or even a very simple SimCity at that, I want to say that these rocks could be broken down relatively easy, and with that we could actually see the entire, the SimCity that's basically supposed to be set up right here could be easily daunted, just a matter of seconds really. I mean, it could be just easily surpassed or bypassed. So that being said, I mean, playing as Protoss, it wouldn't be entirely unwise to see a full SimCity here. As far as the rest of this map goes, I don't know. I think, I think Protoss on this map would definitely, nine times out of 10, just simply not be comfortable playing on this map. Just look at it. This area is so open to drops. This one as well. And, I'm thinking if a Terran was to do a double medevac drop, he could just send one here, and then once, the initial response forces come in to deal with it, maybe we could have the Terran just, basically lift up their forces and then send them into the main or something of that nature. It just wouldn't be pretty. Again, this is just some insight to strategy, nothing really in-depth, nothing I've observed, but just a guess as to what we could observe. And judging by the fact that we already see a single engineering bay out on the map for Platts, I'm thinking perhaps he's, and also these barracks, you know, he's probably making a transition to bio. But Gregory, you know, it's a little difficult to say just what exactly he has in mind, at least from my perspective. This is, you know, I'm not gonna bash it at all. This is, you know, in the uploader's own words, it's a Platinum game, Platinum League game. I'm completely open to seeing just about anything right now. I'm thinking it could be a little bit late for a Stargate opener, but it's still kind of viable. But thus far, we're waiting for both players to really get their macro under. You know, I mean, 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game now, I wouldn't be surprised to see both players just, like, constantly turtle, so on and so forth. And Gregory, sending in that observer. Gonna get a read on this Widow Mine. Yeah, that's right. See it. Jigs up. And this one too, so we know he's not going to go straight up into offensive mode anytime soon, at least not in the immediate future. But we're still waiting to see the more critical tech structures get implemented with his infrastructure and his main and his natural. He's floating about 350 minerals right now. I'm wondering if perhaps this means we're going to see a third in the near future. Speaking of third, there's actually an SCV waiting at that location. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. It did just kind of get yanked out of its then current position for some reason. But for our purposes, I'm thinking if a player is going to macro, at least at this stage, and not have, I don't want to bash Gregory by any means, but if we're going to have a player for our purposes come into this game, basically macroing, then why not, you know, just try and take it into hardcore mode and take a third just as your natural is finishing up. It's something that is commonly done on the Korean server, and the Europeans are, I want to say undoubtedly, the Europeans are better than the Americans at this game. And no, I don't say that because I'm Canadian, there's no justification behind that, but I'm thinking with what we see here from Platts, we're probably, is it possible? No. I'm sorry, because we saw an armory, I was thinking to myself, okay, so we're probably going to see, some Hellbats integrated into the mix, but no. The only factory in the game is actually now floating out towards the third for Gregory, and that's about it. I mean, what would actually be third if Gregory decided to take it? And this is actually a bit of a dangerous choice, but it can have a promising follow-up as long as there is a plan with it and excellent execution as well. That is to say, the Templar Archives. Just finishing up, we also have the Twilight Council. So, Zealot Legs are going to be combined with Storms, essentially. Armored Piranhas going at it while we have a bunch of, I don't know what you'd call it, just AoE from the sky. However, typically, I'm not entirely sure why some players opt to go for Storms as opposed to Colossi at this stage in the game. I'm thinking it's because Storms have the potential to do more damage. It only takes one Storm to kill a single SCV. Marines, I believe, as well. As long as the Storm is placed well, then you can basically get a bunch of Marines with a single Storm. I'm not sure if that's accounting for armor or not. Fun fact of the day, in case you guys haven't played SC2 Master, there's actually I'm trying to think. There's actually this one challenge where you get one High Templar to make, 70-something kills? 70 or 80 kills on Marines with just a single High Templar. More and more Zealots warping in, but I kind of think this is a bit of a silly mistake from Gregory. He's actually in a kind of position where I think that pylon kind of blocks any third Nexus that he could put down there. And it looks like he's actually kind of reluctant to take a third at present because of the aforementioned issues. I would say issues with the map, but with the aforementioned, you know, definite faults that many Protoss players would have to face up to. That is to say, multiple drop plays, harassment, and so on and so forth. Lastly, we do have an observer right here. It will be able to pick up on any drops that try to come their way, and the Mobius reactor as well as ghosts are finally being integrated into the game. So that means we're going to see EMPs eventually. Maybe, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see some nukes either. That would be really nice. I'd like to catch those coming out of the silo whenever I'm observing a game. Also, towards the late game, a lot of players tend to use nukes to basically throw their opponent's turtling armies out of position. I remember one example would be, many of you guys I'm sure have never heard of this player, Max Said, the best Protoss in China, playing against Beastie QT at the Beta Cup. And the Beta Cup, do not be confused, it was not named after the SC2 Heart of the Swarm Beta, which actually, it did take place during. It was actually named after my Clan Master Beta, and it was in its 6th continuation, its 6th series. Oh boy, this huge Bioforce kind of moving out. They're going to catch that observer, I think. Yeah, they're right underneath it right now. They're just waiting for a scan, I think. Oh my god, both sides of the map going at it. Beautiful storms right there. And I think slowly but surely we're going to see Gregory prevail over this one. Yes. Just look at that. The Bioforce is totally melted. The supply difference is now close to a dozen. And feedbacks went down on the ghosts before they could really get any super effective EMPs out. We still have enough energy for a few more storms. How will they connect? A few of them do make it. One Marauder explodes from it, as well as a couple of Marines. But Storm on a bunker. Come on, guys. That's just not good etiquette. SCV is being pulled to try and hold. Try and help defend. And right now it looks like Gregory kind of overextended there, lost everything he had except for the single hero stalker of the day. My god. So both players breaking away relatively even. I want to check up on their upgrades right now and see where they're at. Ooh, Gregory is actually really far ahead. Excuse me, Gregory is actually really far behind in the aspect of upgrades. He really needs to get with that just a little bit more. You know, immediately, the one thing that the resource that everyone should be concerned with immediately after 3rd base and up would be gas, because on 3 base anyone can just non-stop crank out zealots, and that's it. But if you really want to get the more expensive units, the High Templar, the Stalkers, I say expensive because you need gas to make them. Look at how many minerals we see both players floating right now. Both players can easily just get minerals whenever they want. So we finally have +2 getting started for Gregory, and that would be +2 attacks, not +2 armor. Looks like a few SCVs are being pulled with this force that's moving out for Platts right now, but it's perhaps a mistake. Is it? Let's wait and find out. But for now, we actually have Gregory opting to take his 4th base, and you know what? You know what I just noticed? Terran can place a couple of siege tanks right here, and then attack whatever structures we actually see from Protoss here. Maybe, you know, I wouldn't go this far, but I would say perhaps, just perhaps, they could use siege tanks to attack whatever's on the mineral line here as well. So that's something interesting, something new. If that is the case, then I'll probably put this map on my veto list. I don't want to be too pessimistic. I don't want to be too much of a negative Nancy. But if that's the way it's gonna crumble, you know, Zerg has almost no way to retaliate except in the form of Broodlords. And it looks like, speaking of retaliation, we're gonna have these SCVs going to protest pretty soon because there's only one mineral patch everybody's fighting over, and it's only got 50 minerals left. And with that, we'll see the main going dry in a very short period of time for our Terran. Protoss not much further behind either. We actually just need to, you know, I think now would be more than the appropriate time to actually pull workers and put them there. As soon as you start hearing the mineral field depleted, thingamajig, you need to really, you know, just get your 4th base underway and then put your workers on it. I think it's even worth it to distance mine, but hold on, Jethro. Lots of high Templars here, lots of storms ready. I'm just curious, do we have the ability to cast a nuke yet? Is there a nuke here? Personal cloaking is being researched, but here we go. I don't know if there is a nuke or if there isn't. Okay, sorry. Hold that thought, ladies and gentlemen. We have an engagement here. Colossi getting damn good AoE out on most of these units, and Storm already hitting them. Platts is kind of in a bit of trouble, but it looks like we're going to have him hold this. Oh, one Colossus getting caught out in the open. And that just didn't go well for Platts, essentially. Excuse me, that just didn't go too well for Gregory, but he is still up in supply. His upgrades are starting to scale a little bit better. The one thing that really makes a huge difference in this game in terms of upgrades, ooh boy, is the shield upgrade. I don't know if Gregory has any, but also, just look at what we have here. Platts made a huge mistake. He actually forgot to get this thing turned into a planetary fortress much, much sooner. If he had done that, he probably could have saved his entire mineral line at the expense of losing his planetary fortress. The AI, of course, would be basically forced into attacking his fourth base, and I think this is perhaps the tipping point for Platts. I mean, if we just check the income right now, we see that, and this is usually not the case, but now it is. Gregory has a definitive lead in both Vespine and Platts. If he wanted to actually seal the deal and win this game, he should just open his eyes a little bit more and see that he's got lots of gas. He's floating Chrono Boost. There's plenty of that to go around. I mean, you never know when you may need carriers, but of course, nah. I'm pulling your leg, guys. I'm pulling your legs. Alright, so here we go. Pylon's about to be taken down. It is... Observers kind of just keeping an eye on what's happening here, and I think Platts knows that in order to make up for his earlier deficiency, he's going to have to basically move a command center from here to perhaps this location. I'm wondering, you know, I don't think there's any golds on this map. So layout is just a little bit slightly like, what's the word I'm looking for? That map. That huge map from Wings of Liberty. What is it called? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I know the name of it in Chinese, but I forget the name of it in English. Entombed Valley. There we go. Entombed Valley, LE. Yeah, guys. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. We have ghosts moving forward, but it looks like they don't have the ability to cast nukes just yet. And they have casted personal cloaking, but the cannon's going to pick up on them. It's going to detect them. They're going into a different position. These Marines actually absorbing huge amounts of storms. Vikings just trying to charge in and concentrate down the Colossi. It looks like they get both of them. But right now, most of the Bioforce that we saw from Platts was just Marines, and they just basically took way too much damage from those storms. They're forced to pull back. We can see that their micro is not, you know, I mean, Gregory, he's got some okay micro. It could be a little bit, or excuse me, Platts has some okay micro. It could be better. But now we just see Gregory is almost able to power through this with no trouble. If it were not for the Marauders, beautiful storm by Gregory, basically nailing that entire bio ball. And now we see that the supply difference is actually favoring Platts just a little bit. He needs to get more Marauders into the mix, and he is doing that right now. It wouldn't be a bad idea to... Excuse me, it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to get more Ghosts in as well. He does have one that is capable of casting 2 EMP rounds, and he's going to have to make them count as best he can. 4 Observers in the mix. Interesting. Go, and it looks like, I want to say with the present composition that we have from Platts, I don't think he's going to be able to hold this. It's just the Marauders, yeah, they're okay, but there's nothing to really deal with the Colossi here. All the Vikings did get thrown away, and it looks like just as I say that, some more Vikings are going into the mix. They're getting produced, and it looks like Platts for now just does not want to deal with that planetary fortress at the pocket fourth, if you will, and now we see that Platts is just getting into an increasingly worse position. He's got, you know, once his bunker falls, I don't think he's going to be able to hold, guys. I mean, just look at the production. Look at everything that's here. Look at the supply difference, for crying out loud.
the army supply. It's 36 to 90. Where's the other 30 something? I don't know. Ah, here it is. It's making a drop in main. This is kind of an act of desperation, but we'll see if it just happens to pull. If it just happens to pull Gregory back. I don't think it will, but it's worth a shot and trying out. Looks like we have the GGWO because well played is far too proper. Alright, so I guess we can see some viability of this map. It would probably be a good idea to place a planetary fortress here as well, maybe, as well as perhaps a few tanks behind it. That's just what I think. I mean, the planetary fortresses, they make good defenses, no doubt, but I mean, you've got to have them to just keep this choked. Like, this is not a choke anymore. This is just a wide open path. Just look at it, guys. So yeah, this has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.